like I said, I had been working in marketing. I worked for Eminem for his clothing line. And so when he was launching his radio station at Sirius, Shade 45, I actually inquired about getting a job, just basically doing marketing, what I had been doing. I wanted to make a switch from working in fashion and to get like an in-house position. You know, I had been laid off from my job before that. And after that, I was like, let me take a little time, get a little unemployment, because I had been working my whole life since I graduated from college, even before, while I was in college. So I took a few months to kind of like take a beat, you know, enjoy myself, go to the gym, just chill. And then I went and looked online to look for different job opportunities. And I saw Shade 45. So I said, oh, I worked for Eminem. Let me call Paul Rosenberg. Let me call Tracy and see if they can just put in a good word for me. And so they ended up getting me an interview, but they were like, look, we can't guarantee you'll get a job, but we can get you the interview, which that's all I asked for. And so once I went there, they were like, okay, you can audition for an opportunity on the morning show that was with Cypher Sounds. And, you know, Paul Rosenberg said, look, I have nothing to do, whatever salary it is, if they choose you, that's just all on you. And I think it's important to not expect people to hand you opportunities, but to just get you in the door and then you take it from there. I think when you ask people for help, the ask should never be like, get me a job. It should be like, hey, I saw this opportunity available. Can you at least link me to the right person so that I could take it from there? And I don't want to put that on anybody ever, like, I need a job. Because sometimes people really ask you to just hand them things. And so when I went in, I auditioned for like 3 months. And then they finally hired me. So I worked for free for 3 months every single day. And then...
Worked for free.
Yes. Worked for free. Still got unemployment. Which I don't know if you're supposed to, but it's fine now. But I wasn't making any money. I was literally showing up every day like I had a job. And listen, radio wasn't easy for me. It's not anything I ever thought I was going to do. I wasn't that well versed on current events. I actually had written bios for artists, so I was okay with talking to people. And working behind the scenes, you get a rapport like that where a lot of people knew who I was already from the music business. I worked with D'Angelo, I worked with Wu-Tang, I worked with Nile Rodgers, I worked at marketing companies. So I had been around, so people knew me. And I was from Brooklyn, I was from New York. And so I had some good connections and some good relationships. And then it was just different having to get on air and talk. And it was intimidating. It's not easy to just sit there and start talking and to make sure that you're doing research and make sure that you're reporting stories correctly, because it's different than talking to your friends. I could tell you something that's completely not true and you'd be like, girl, you crazy. But you get on the air and do that, that's a whole nother story.
That's true. That's true. But that's the reason why you're really good at your job. And I need you to hear that and to understand that. Not that you need my
I need it.
My compliment. But I do want you to know that because you've been in this game for 20 years for a reason, and you start off doing that. How did the Breakfast